Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today, I wanted to talk about Chucky. Always been out for a little bit, and I have a lot of feelings about this character, both positively and negatively, but I kind of want to just make this video because I've come to understand something about Chucky that I find particularly frustrating, but I want to boil it down to something that's a little bit more constructive and objective, which is that Chucky has a tremendously high skill ceiling, but I'm also discovering slowly but surely that Chucky also has a very, very low skill floor. It can a lot of the ways be an autopilot killer that's very, very easy to just get easy wins with. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So first, I kind of want to talk about the positive end of things really quickly. Is that, yeah, Chucky is a very, very high skill ceiling killer. There's a lot to learn about this character. Like, the homie has flicks, the 180 flicks that you commonly see on Oni. Homie can 180 flick. There's the window cancel that you can do where you fly towards a window, look up, bounce off it, and start your second dash without actually vaulting it. There's obviously all the scamper stuff that you can do. There's a lot to this character that could take you to the moon. To put it in a very, very cool way. It can take you to the moon. You could win a lot of your matches without doing this stuff, but when you start getting better at these things, at these techs, you start being able to put down even some of the better survivors in the game, people that are actually really good at looping. You're going to be able to put them down. And the cool thing is like with a lot of characters that I personally like in Dead by Daylight, a lot of it looks flashy too. There's only so much you can do when you're playing M1 killers where you're just oh, I downed them with my lunge again. I downed them with my M1 again. First, it starts getting just tremendously boring. But a lot of the stuff that you can do with Chucky looks tremendously flashy, which feels good to pull off. And it's one of those things that makes Chucky a very wonderfully designed killer. But now that I've gotten the praise out of the way, I feel like this character also has a tremendously low skill floor and is also kind of for babies at the same time. So I want to turn your attention to Blight, right? And we're going to use this for an example. So pin this in your cap here. Blight is a character that is very, very similar to Chucky. Often when people were asking me initially how to, what is Chucky like? What do you compare him to? I'm like, it's like a Blight that only has one rush. Well, two if you do the thing, but you don't have to bump. So you just get the rush right away, which is really, really good. But obviously you don't have a bunch of rushes like Blight, so, there's a little bit less wiggle room there. It also comes down to the hug tech thing, obviously Blight has hug tech, Chucky has hug tech, so it kind of a lot of that transfers over as well, and also the flicks and stuff like that. There's a lot of similarities between the characters, which is why people are kind of taking them out of their top 10 and putting them up in their top 5 of strongest characters in the game. But I feel it's almost like a cheaper Blight. And let me explain. So imagine, one of the things that's really, really good about Blight is that he can't just he can M1 you obviously, but he can't just outright just rush at you and immediately hit you. He has to bump something first. And Blight, outside of an add-on and all of the Tinkerer and the Trail Torment and all the perks in the game, does not have any sort of built-in undetectable. So if you're in a situation where you're at a gen that's not really in a dead zone, but the nearest resource is a little far away, moderately far away, there's a pallet a tile over, you're gonna hear the Blight coming, unless they have brought specific perks or a specific add-on. Even if the Blight is coming, he's gonna have to at least bounce first before he can hit you. So that gives you time to get off the gen, to at least start making your way to a resource that you can loop. And that's why Blight, aside from his add-ons, his tremendously frustrating add-ons, is considered fun by most of the community, and a lot of people like facing Blight, is because that's a fair and good thing. That he has to at least bounce first, unless he's running a lot of perks and add-ons, or is in a specific add-on. He's not just sneaking up on you with this extremely oppressive power. So you have some sort of ability to react. You have some sort of ability to retaliate in some way, even if the power is so oppressive that it's made him the second best character in the game. Chucky does not have these restraints. Let's take that same situation that we're in, that we're at a gen, and the next we have a path palette like, but it's like a tile over, so I gotta run a little bit to get to it. I don't hear Chucky coming because he has a stealth ability. With, like when he's in his slice and dice mode, he's in his hidey ho mode. He's undetectable. You do get the little footsteps around, but everybody does, so you can't tell which are his. You're supposed to be able to hear him like like giggling as he comes up towards you, but what I have often found is like by the time you hear him giggling, it's often too late. Like he does have a sound cue that it does play infrequently. It's not very consistent, but he does have a sound cue of him like chuckling to himself before he comes in, before you like when he gets near you. But it's often too late. You're most often in a position where no matter how far you run, unless you had sprint burst, he's going to catch up to you with his lunge. And obviously, you know, eagle-eyed viewers, somebody's already like mashing down in the comments like, well, look at him, use your eyes, forehead, like actually watch for him. But Chucky's like a foot tall. So any sort of boxes, any sort of junk on the maps, which there's a ton, because Behavior for some reason this era of DBD really loves putting junk all over their maps. Even just like very, very tall, like blades of grass in a group will hide him fairly well, so you won't see him coming. So the sound cue that's supposed to come with that is inconsistent, and when you hear it, it's often like too late. You can't really see him a lot unless you're in like you know, a very wide open map with not a lot of junk around you, which is not very possible in modern DBD. So a lot of the times he just kind of ends up like showing up on you on a gen and getting what I would refer to as a free hit, because you can't, unless you had sprint burst, you're not making it to the nearest resource, and you're not getting enough info on like, is he coming, is he here, because those are just inconsistent, whether that be because of the map, because of just like the sound cue being inconsistent. Like, so he like the homie Chucky gets a lot of free hits, and obviously this also doesn't even boil down to the doesn't even take into account the other aspect of him being short, which is like if you're looping at a lot of tiles in the game, he just kind of like flat out disappears. Like he does have a red stain still, unless he's in his hidey ho mode, which, you know, we already talked about. But like you literally lose him behind objects because he is so small. So like even while you're looping him, like you won't be able to see him because he's just like completely obscured. Like most killers in the game, even like the shorter killers, like you know, Freddy, Legion, you can still kind of see them, like the top of like their hood or their hat as they're going around a loop. Chucky, you just flat out can't see. So it becomes a lot of a guessing game at certain tiles in the game, just because you just can't see him. So I feel like I'm not trying to like gripe about the character. If you've watched streams lately, you know I've been kind of like going through it, but I'm not here to make this video to like, you know, dog Chucky or say he's a poorly designed character. I just kind of want to call attention because I feel like most people kind of like have kind of like mostly spoken of Chucky in like a particularly like only good light of like, hey, this is a very, very high skill killer. He has a high skill cap. If you're playing him, you're getting results. It's only because you're good, because he's a very difficult character. But I think after spending a week with him, I see a lot of things that are free 99. A lot of things about him that are very, very low skill cap. Even a caveman can do it. That gets him a lot of value. A lot of value. So I kind of just wanted to draw attention to that and be like, hey, yeah, I agree he has a very, very high skill cap and it's very cool, but I also think he has a very, very low skill floor and a lot of things are handed to him, which is another reason why he's like so popular and he's being played so much, because like not only are the players like the Oni mains and stuff like that love doing like flicks and techs and stuff like that are gravitating towards them because of the high skill cap. I feel like a lot of players that want easy wins are also going to Chucky because he does kind of just show up and you know, it's like it's really dependent on the map RNG. Were you in the middle of a tile when he showed up? Because if you're in the middle of a tile, like you're in the middle of a jungle gym, you have the palette, you have the L wall. But if you're doing a gen that's like even like one tile away from a path palette, he almost wins those situations like all the time, and or should be, I guess, depending on the player, right? Like you should be winning those scenarios. You should be at least getting a hit in most of those scenarios because you can't outrun him because of the lunge. He gets to sneak up on you because of the things we talked about it. So it's just like he's just like also there's aspects of him that are also very easy. That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, he's really hard, but there's also aspects of him that are really easy, and I just kind of wanted to paint both sides of the story here. So Yeah, this will probably get. This is probably one of those videos I get kind of dunked on for, because I'm be like, wow, just get, you know, whatever. I make videos and people hate them or they like them. So yeah. What do you guys think of Chucky? Do you think he is only high school cop, or you like me, where you're like, he's hard, but he's also pretty easy too? Let me know down in the comments below. But on that, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, friends. But I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.